Namaskar students, welcome back to my another lecture. So in my previous lecture, I have discussed the transistor biasing, in which first I have introduced the concept of fixed bias or emitter bias configuration, and there I have given the concept, introduced the theory, and there we have used one DC power supply. In this DC power supply, there was plus VCC was connected to the base through a base resistor, and the same VCC was connected to the collector through a collector resistance. And then the circuit was designed, and I have explained the theory. Then I have explained and solve a numerical problem based on fixed bias configuration. And then I have given another example on fixed bias configuration. Then I have explained the DC load line for the case of fixed bias configuration. And the main important thing is that in case of fixed bias configuration, I have explained how the DC load line basically moves Q points basically moves on DC load line if we change the input current, that is base current, by keeping other variables like VCC and collector resistance constant. So if you increase the base current, so your Q point will shift from cutoff point towards the saturation point. Similarly, one can change the Q point by keeping base current constant and input DC power supply constant, but just by changing the collector resistance. If you increase the collector resistance by, let us say, R3, RC3 is greater than RC2, RC2 is greater than RC1. So other cutoff point remains same, but saturation point changes. Then Q point basically changes from active region towards the saturation region, from right to left. Similarly, if you keep constant base current and collector resistance, and then if you change the DC input power supply, then your cutoff point and saturation point both change. And even in that case also, your Q point basically changes from active region to the towards the saturation region. So this was the main concept I have given. Then I have solved a numerical problem based on DC uh, load line on Q point, and then I have explained the advantage, disadvantage, and applications of fixed bias configuration. The main disadvantage of the fixed bias configuration was the poor stabilization, because if you change the temperature, your collector current means if you change the beta, or if you change the beta, your VB will change, or if you change the beta, your collector current will change, and collector current will change will cause the change in collector emitter voltage, which both consequently will result the change in Q point. That means that was the major drawback of fixed bias or base bias configuration. So in order to overcome the poor stabilization of fixed bias configuration, if we add if we just include a emitter resistance at emitter terminal in same fixed bias configuration, just you add a resistance, just you introduce a resistance, that is Re, then the same configuration, uh, biasing configuration is called as a emitter bias configuration. Okay, so here you have a plus BCC power supply, and this plus BCC power supply is connected to the base through a base resistance, and the same plus BCC power supply is connected to the collector through a resistor, and the negative terminal of this this negative terminal of this power supply, that is VCC, that is minus VCC, is connected with the ground. That means this plus VCC, this power supply is sharing both terminal, in base terminal and the collector terminal. So if we this is the actual circuit diagram. If I draw the DC equivalent circuit, So this circuit will look like uh, that. That is plus VCC base resistance and the base, and the plus VC collector resistance and the collector, and there is emitter. At the emitter there is a emitter resistance. Here emitter resistance is there. Now one can do the analysis like we have did in a fixed bias configuration also. So here please remember one thing, that here I have shown only plus VCC plus VCC. That means this DC power supply, the negative end of the DC power supply, that is also there, but that is not shown in the circuit, but that is grounded. Okay. So if we do the analysis of a fixed bias with respect to fixed bias configuration, here in case of emitter bias configuration, so if we apply, uh, uh, if you draw the circuit diagram, let us say if you take this negative end of power supply that is grounded, so this ground and this ground both are the same point, so you can make a wire, something like that. So I have drawn here. So this is the base emitter loop. So this is base emitter, emitter resistance, base resistance, and the positive end of the BC plus BCC, and the negative end of the power supply, and this negative end of the power supply is grounded, and emitter is the grounded. This means this circuit is exactly equal to the this circuit, that is base emitter loop. Okay. Now you can apply Kirchhoff voltage law in base emitter loop. If you apply clockwise or anti-clockwise, so you can get this equation. If you apply anti-clockwise, so if you have to move in this way, so here IERE, so that is minus IERE minus VBE minus IBRB plus VCC equal to 0, that is anti-clockwise. If you apply clockwise, that is plus IBRB plus VBE plus IERE minus VCC equal to 0. Both are the same. Whatever you want, write, you write. So this equation you will get. So the question, what you will get? You will get uh, plus VCC minus IBRB minus VBE minus IERE is equal to 0. Or somebody may write same equation. Somebody may write plus IBRB plus VBE plus IERE minus VCC equal to 0. Both equations are same. Now we know the basic definition of beta, that is IC upon IB. That is beta is equal to IC upon IB, that is collector current upon base current. But we have a relation that IE is equal to IC plus IB. So by using that these two relations, one can have a relation between emitter current and base current. If you develop a relation between emitter current and base current for common emitter transistor, then we can derive this equation, that is IE is equal to beta plus 1 into IB. Okay. Though beta is equal to IC upon IB, it means IC is equal to beta IB. But here we have IC is equal to beta IB, but we can obtain a relation, that is IE is equal to beta plus 1 IB. So if we substitute this value of IE in this equation here IE, then we can have IB and IB, and we can take IB as a out, then we can calculate, we can find out the value of IB, which is unknown in this equation. So if you do that, so plus VCC minus IBRB minus VBE plus minus in place of IE, that is beta plus 1 IB into RE, that is equal to 0. Or if we take IB here, we take minus IB as outside, so in bracket RB plus beta plus 1 RE bracket close plus VCC minus VB is equal to 0. And if we multiply minus sign both sides, so we can get plus IB in bracket RB plus beta plus 1 bracket close RE bracket close minus VCC plus VB is equal to 0, or IB in bracket RB plus beta plus 1 into RE is equal to VCC minus VB. Just I have taken this outside of the equal. So we can get IB is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB plus beta plus 1 RE. So remember, if you see carefully this equation is quite similar to the base current what we have obtained in fixed bias configuration. In fixed bias configuration, what we have? We had IB is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB. Okay. But here remember, there was no emitter resistance. But in present case, what we have? Just by adding emitter resistance, so what we are adding? We are adding extra term in current, that is beta plus 1 RE. That is the difference. Otherwise, IB for both cases that is same. Here IB is equal to VCC minus VBE divided by RB plus beta plus 1 into RE. Okay. So now if we apply Kirchhoff voltage line collector emitter loop. So this another end of the this DC power supply that is grounded. So that in this end and this is in the same. So we can connect with a wire. So something like this one. So this is RC collector resistance. Collector current is flowing. Then positive end of the battery connected with the collector resistance. Then negative end of the battery that is grounded, and the emitter is also grounded. That emitter is grounded. So here also emitter is grounded. So that is this is making a closed loop. Now you can apply Kirchhoff voltage law. If you apply Kirchhoff voltage law, so if you start from here, that is plus ICRC plus VC, this voltage drop plus this voltage drop plus this voltage drop plus this voltage. So plus ICRC plus VCE plus IERE minus VCC equal to 0. And we will approximate here. Let us, as I have discussed in my one lecture, in common emitter configuration, base current is always, in any configuration, base current is always that is of the order of microampere, because base current is flowing, its magnitude is very very less. Okay, so base current is of the order of microampere, but collector current and emitter current, they are of the order of milliampere. So that means base current is 10 nearly thousands time, base current is thousands time less than the emitter current and collector current. So one can have good approximation that emitter current is approximately equal to collector current, because here we have two current. So we can equate, if we in place of emitter current if we substitute I collector current, then we can calculate VCE. So VCE will be equal to minus VCC. Just I have substituted, I have replaced this IE with IC. So IC into RE plus IC into RE. So IC I have taken common. So VCE minus VCC plus IC, RC plus RE is equal to 0. So VCE is equal to VCC minus in bracket IC, RC plus RE. So this is the value of IB and this is the value of VCE, because this IB is known, so we know the IC, and this IC is basically one of the Q point, that is ICQ, and this VCE is basically one of the Q point, that is VCEQ. So we can calculate, we can find out, we can determine what is the value of Q point for this fixed bias configuration. Okay. Then in later, I will explain how this fixed bias configuration, by just adding this resistance emitter resistance, how this how this fixed bias configuration by adding this emitter resistance can increase the stability, which is called as a emitter bias configuration. Okay. So before that, I will introduce a numerical example. So let us try to solve a numerical example based on the emitter bias configuration. So example 1, that is determine example 1, determine IB, IC, VCE, VC, VE, VB, VBC for the emitter bias configuration. Okay, here all quantities are written in capital letter, capital I, capital B, capital I, capital C. That means we have to determine the DC signal. So if you see the circuit, what is given? This V plus VCC is given, that plus 20 volt power supply is given. Then base resistance 430 kilo ohm is given. Then 2 kilo ohm collector resistance is given. Then beta is given, that is 50. And then emitter resistance is given, that is 1 kilo ohm. That means this is the value of plus VCC, and this is the value of RB, and this is the value of RC, and this is the value of RE, and this is the value of beta. Now you can determine very easily the value of IB, because as I have explained in theory, we can find out the value of IB by just applying Kirchhoff voltage law in base meter loop, that IB is equal to plus VCC minus VBE divided by RB plus beta plus 1 into RE. So if you write that equation, so IB is equal to VCC minus VBE divided by RB plus beta plus 1 into RE. Everything is known. So if you substitute, so VCC is equal to 20 volt minus VB, that is 0.7 volt, divided by RB, that is 430 kilo ohm, and then plus beta plus 1, beta is 50 and plus 1, that is 51. So 51 multiplied by RE, that is 1 kilo ohm, so that is 51 kilo ohm. So if you do that, that is 19.20 minus 0.7, that is 19.3, and 430 plus 51, that is 481 kilo ohm. So 19.3 volt divided by 481 kilo ohm. So this will give 40.1 microampere current. So this is the basically value of IB which is asked to determine. Okay, in emitter bias configuration. Now once this IB is known, then one can find out the IC as I discussed. IC is equal to beta into IB. Beta is known. If you multiply this IB with beta, 50 multiplied by 40.1 microampere, that is giving approximately 2.01 milliampere. So this IC is also known. No, we have determined the IC. IB is determined. IC is known now. Now we can find out the value of VCE. How one can find out the value of VCE? Just by applying Kirchhoff voltage line output loop as we have did in the theory part here. If you do that, what will obtain? We will obtain this equation, that is VCE is equal to VCC minus IC in bracket RC plus RE. So that equation I have taken directly. So VCE is equal to VCC minus IC in bracket RC plus RE. So VCC is known, IC is known, IC we have calculated, RC is known 2 kilo ohm, RE that is 1 kilo ohm. So 20 minus 2.01 milliampere in bracket 2 kilo ohm plus 1 kilo ohm, that is 3 kilo ohm. If you solve it, that will give 3.03 volt, 6.03 volt. So 20 volt minus 6.03 volt, that is 13.97 volt. So this voltage drop across collector emitter junction, that is VCE, this one, red one, I have marked it. This VCE is basically 13.97 volt. So if this VCE is determined, this voltage is determined, this voltage is known now, plus VCC is known, means if you go in this circuit, so this plus VCC, this power supply is known, and voltage here, IC collector current is known, and RC is known. So what will be the value of voltage at this point that can be determined? So that voltage will be equal to VC will be equal to voltage at this point where my pointer is there. Voltage at this point where I have written VC, this voltage will be equal to this voltage minus this voltage drop. Okay. So that is VC is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. VCC is at 20 volt minus IC 2.01 milliampere multiplied by RC 2 kilo ohms. That will, if you solve, that will give VC is equal to 15.98 volt. That means voltage at this point at collector terminal, that is 15.98 volt. Okay, that's all. So now if this VC is known, VC is known, then one can find out the VE, VB and VBC. Okay. Now this VE, this emitter voltage can be determined by two methods, because we know this voltage and we know this voltage drop. Collector emitter voltage drop is known, collector voltage is known. Then how much, what is the voltage of this emitter we can find out. So we know that VCE is equal to VC minus VE. Okay, VCE is equal to VC minus VE, or one can write VEE is equal to VC minus VE. VE is equal to VC minus VCE. So VC is known. VC is how known? That is 15.98 volt. 15.98 volt minus VCE, that is we have calculated, that is 13.97 volt. So VE is equal to 2.01 volt, means voltage at emitter terminal that before just register, that is 2.01 volt. Okay, this is one method. Another method that we have approximated here, that that this IC we can approximate, this IC will be approximately equal to IE as we have approximated in theory also. This IE can be approximated as equal to IC. If we do that, if we approximate IE is equal to IC, so we can write voltage drop across this resistor. The voltage drop across this resistor is VE. So VE is equal to IE into RE. That is what I have written. VE is equal to IE into RE. Okay. And we know that IE can be written as IC. We can write approximately equal to IC into RE. And IC is known. IC is 2.01 milliampere and RE is equal to 1 kilo ohm. So this VE is equal to 2.01 volt. So that means both voltage are same, means both are correct, whether you determine by this method or this method. Voltage at emitter junction, that at emitter terminal, that is 2.01 volt. Okay. Now, if this voltage, emitter voltage, is known, and this base emitter voltage, we know that is 0.7 volt. This base emitter voltage is known, emitter voltage is known, then this base voltage can be determined. And similarly, if this collector voltage is known, if base voltage is known, then base collector voltage can be determined. So we know basic relation, that is VBE is equal to VB minus VE, or VB is equal to VBE plus VE. Okay. So VB is equal to 0.7 volt plus 2.01 volt, that is VE, that is VB is equal to 2.71 volt. That means voltage at this point, that is VB at this point, that is 2.71 volt. So voltage at this is 2.71 volt, and this is VC that we have calculated, that is 15.98 volt. So this voltage VBC can be calculated. So VBC is equal to VB minus VC, that is 2.71 volt minus 15.98 volt, that is giving minus 13.27 volt. Remember, this voltage is negative. This negative voltage reflects that this base collector junction, that is in reverse bias, and that is what we require in common emitter transistor. This junction, base collector junction, should be reverse bias, and base emitter junction should be forward bias, and that is what we have did just by using a single DC power supply, and just I have added a resistance, and this adding of resistance basically increase the stability of our transistor. So now let us try to see another example, that is example 2 in fixed in emitter bias configuration. In this in which I will show that how this uh, emitter bias configuration increase the stability of transistor. So let us try to see another example. So this example, prepare a table and compare the bias voltage and current of the circuit shown in the figure for the given value of beta and for a new value of beta. Compare the changes in IC and VC for the same increase in beta. Okay. I think you understood the problem. If not, let us try to simplify it. So problem is saying that you have two circuit diagram. First circuit, I have written figure 1, that is fixed bias configuration. Obviously, there is no resistance, that is fixed bias configuration. Then I have taken another figure, that is figure 2, that is emitter bias configuration. Why? Because I have added a emitter resistance. Both problem I have taken initial one, because this if you see this problem, so this problem I have already solved. So same problem 2432 1 kilo ohm, same problem I have taken, that is emitter bias. In this problem also I have solved earlier in case of fixed bias configuration. If you remember, the same example I have taken here. If you see, there was 12 volt 240 kilo ohm 2.2. So same problem. So same problem I have taken as an example. So these are the two figures. This is fixed bias and this is the emitter bias configuration. Okay. Now you are asked here to calculate the collector current, base current, and collector meter voltage. Three parameter: collector current, base current, collector current, and this collector emitter voltage. These three parameters you are asked to calculate two times. First, when you take beta is equal to 50, then you calculate, and then you take new beta, that is beta is equal to 100, then you calculate, and then you prepare a table. What change if you change beta from 50 to 100, then how base current, collector current, and collector emitter voltage changes for this fixed bias configuration. And similarly, if you change beta from 50 to 100, and how your base current, collector current, and collector emitter voltage changes for emitter bias configuration. That is what question is asked. And when you prepare a table, then you will be able to see that how much this current are changing for this case, and similarly for this case, how much current and voltage are changing when you are changing beta from 50 to 100. And this problem is very, very important. Why this is very important? Because this problem, this example will give a new concept how the stability of emitter bias configuration is increased with respect to base bias or fixed configuration just by adding a resistance at the emitter terminal in this circuit. Okay, so that will be the idea. That is the main objective of this problem. So let's try to solve. So for value of for value of beta 50, I have already solved this. And for this same problem, I have solved. If you remember, for beta, yeah, for beta 50, if you take beta 50, I have solved the problem. So I have got the IB is equal to 47.08 microampere, IC is equal to 2.35, and VC is equal to 6.83. So I will not solve again for the new example. So I will just take the same value. Those who wanted to solve, they can solve similarly from here. Okay, and I will solve for when beta for 100. So let us try to solve. So for beta 50, we know for fixed bias configuration figure, for figure 1, for this figure, if you solve for beta is equal to 50, IB is equal to 47.08 microampere, IC is equal to 2.35 milliampere, VC is equal to 6.83 volt. Okay, same thing as I discussed. Similarly, for the same figure, if you change beta from 50 to 100, then if you calculate IB will remain same because as I discussed, IB does not depend upon beta. If you see, IB does not depend upon beta for the uh, fixed bias configuration. If you see for fixed bias configuration, IB is independent of beta. Okay, if IB is independent of beta for fixed bias configuration, that means IB remains same, that is 47.08 microampere. But IC is equal to beta into IB. Here now, because it was here beta was 50, now here beta is 100. So if you calculate IC is equal to beta into IB, that will give IC is equal to 47.08 multiplied by 100, that is 4.71 milliampere. Here IC was 2.35, here now IC is 4.71 milliampere. That is nearly double, just double. Similarly, if you see calculate the VCE, the VCE is basically dependent on IC. Obviously, VC is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. That is 12 volt minus 4.7 multiplied by 2.2 kilo. That is VC is equal to 1.64 volt. Here VC was 6.83 volt. And here VC is 1.6 volt. For figure 1, which is basically example of fixed bias configuration, if you plot a table, so for beta 50 and 100, IB is equal to 47.8, and for both beta IB is same. For but for IC, for 50 beta IC is equal to 2.35 milliampere. When you change beta from 50 to 100, IC also changes just double. If you here beta you double to 100, and IC also just doubled. It means the BJT collector current is seen to change 100% due to 100% change in beta value. How the collector current will change same times as you change the beta value. Okay, and you see the BCE here 6.83 for 50 and 1.64 for 100. Here you change the 100%. If you change the 100% time beta, then the base current remains same. If you see base current remains same, but VCE, collector emitter voltage, basically decreases 76%. Okay, so in fixed bias configuration, if you change the beta by 100%, collector current will change 100%, base current will remain same, in collector meter voltage that will decrease 76%. That means your if these are IC and VC are Q point, that means just by changing the beta value, your Q point is changing. That means your Q point is not stabilized. That is why I said fixed bias configuration was not stable. Okay, and to overcome this stability, poor stability, we have introduced the emitter bias configuration just by adding a resistance. So let us try to see let us try to solve the same thing for this figure 2. If you solve the same problem for figure 2, so I have again this solve for beta 50. We have solved just we have solved problem here for beta 50. IC IB is equal to 40.1, IC is equal to 1 and VC is equal to 13.97. So I will take this value for beta 50. Same value I will not calculate. Those who want to calculate, they can take from this here. Okay. So IB is equal to 40.1, 40.1 microampere, IC is equal to 2.01, and VC is equal to 13.97. Okay. And for beta is equal to 100. Okay. If you do, because IB depend upon beta, here IB depend upon beta, so IB will also change. If you calculate, IB will be equal to VCC minus VB divided by RB plus beta plus 1 RE. So that I substituted 20 minus 0.7 divided by 430 kilo ohm plus beta plus 1, that is 100 plus 1, 101 into 1, that is 101 plus 430, that is 531 kilo ohm, that is dividing 19.3. So that will give 36.3 microampere. So IB is 36.3 microampere. And similarly, if you calculate IC, IC is equal to beta into IB. So beta is 100 and IB is equal to 36.3. That is 3.63 milliampere. So IC is equal to 3.63 milliampere. And VC is equal to VCC minus IC in bracket RC plus RE. So that VCC 20 minus 3.63 milliampere multiply by in bracket, that is RC, that is 2 kilo ohm plus 1 kilo ohm. If you solve it, so you will get VC is equal to 9.11 volt. Now if you prepare a table for this second figure, that is emitter bias configuration for beta 50, 100, IB 40.1, 36.1, IC 2.01, 3.63, 13.97, 9.71. If you see clearly here, for emitter bias configuration, your beta is not constant, but for fixed bias configuration, you change beta from 50 to 100, your base current remains same, but here if you change beta from 50 to 100, your base current also decreases, base current also changes, that is 40.1 to 36.3. Another thing, if you see here in case of fixed bias configuration, collector just by doubling the beta value from 50 to 100, your collector current just become double. Okay, means collector current want increasing proportionally with beta, but here if you see, here you increase the beta double 2 times, but collector current is not increased 2 times. Okay, that is not increased 2 times. And similarly, collector emitter voltage, this was 13.96 and this is not decreased as it was decreasing in case of fixed bias configuration. So if you, I have calculated the percentage. Now the BJT collector current increased, this collector current increased how much? 81% due to 100% increase in beta in in emitter bias configuration. So in emitter bias configuration, collector current increases 81% due to 100% increase in beta, but in fixed bias configuration, collector current was increasing 100% due to 100% increase in beta. That is the difference. Okay, that means here collector current is less increasing with comparison to the fixed bias configuration. In case of emitter bias configuration, collector current is less changing with respect to fixed bias configuration. Similarly, notice that why it is happening so? Why this is collector current is less increasing? Because notice that IB decreases. IB decreased. Here, if IB decrease, that helps maintaining the value of IC or least reducing the overall change in IC due to change in beta. Okay. And similarly, the change in VCE, if you see, the change in VC has, collector emitter voltage has dropped to 35%. Here it was how much? It was 76%. Here collector emitter voltage was decreased 76% in fixed bias configuration, but in emitter bias configuration, that collector emitter voltage decreased only 35%. Okay, so just by comparing both configuration, fixed bias configuration and emitter bias configuration, one can say that the network, emitter bias configuration is therefore more stable than the fixed bias network for the same change in beta. If the value of beta is changing in same manner, then out of both configuration, this emitter bias configuration is much more stable than the fixed bias configuration. I hope You understood, you clearly understand whatever message I want to convey to you. With this, I request you all kindly go through the book and try to solve more and more numerical problem based on fixed bias configuration, transistor biasing, and emitter bias configuration transistor biasing. And if you face any problem, don't hesitate to contact me at any time. With this remark, I thank you all for listening me carefully. Thanking you all.